Okay, we're starting with a women-inspired story that includes family, findings, and fun. That's what you get when you combine the self-described personalities of three steel magnolias with roots in small-town Texas. The mom, Janie, is the relentless fanatic of all things junky. One of her daughters, Amie, is the eclectic, wild-at-heart creative soul. The other daughter, Jolie, is a true blue Southern girl who loves junk, biscuits, and got them caught up in a business with a huge following. You can buy their things all over, but many make the trip to Round Top to shop their actual store, Junk Gypsy Company. Country star Miranda Lambert is also a big fan, and their lives have been featured through shows on HGTV. We got the girls to come up to the big city while Mama and Daddy hold down the fort. Actually, Mama decided to come after all. You're going to see her in a minute. Jolie and Amie are here to share their Texas tale, some lessons in business, and show us what's in store. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good to see you here. All right, before we get knee deep into your Texas tale, first of all, let me say thank you so much, because your compassion and your heart for Texas came through in terms of the efforts to help those who suffered through the Hill Country floods.
You already got me crying, Deborah. Well, as we all know, that I can't even. Well, that was such a terrible tragedy, and we did what we know what we can do. There's not much we could do, so we designed a shirt to benefit.
Yeah, we just saw that
Texas
graphic just came up there.
Texas, everybody, not just Texas, we were selling them across the world.
Oh yeah, we've had people send us pictures from Australia, from Canada, so really it went nationwide.
Yeah, and there's a print right there that you all designed with Miranda Lambert.
Right.
As I mentioned, was a good friend of y'all's.
And in the end, we were able to raise over $192,000, so we were blown away.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Talking about those Texas roots, you were raised in Overton, Texas. It's a one-light town up in the Northeast, population 2,305, and it went down when y'all left. But, and you describe it as, you two are such great writers, you describe it as twang as thick as the gossip. The football field is a spiritual experience.
And it was. It was.
What were your earliest memories of growing up in such a small town? Did you know that there were bigger cities out there?
So Mom would take us out of school to take us to Dallas to go to like thrift stores and secondhand stores. So that's kind of where a lot of this started. So yes, we knew there were bigger towns, but you know, our parents had a restaurant. We grew up like it was on Main Street. We were just cooking pizza and serving the town, and we grew up just with customer service, and just the love of a small town, you know, is something that for us was such a great starting space for us.
Yeah, and honing that work ethic, because you were doing everything. You were mopping the floors, baking the pizzas, you learned customer service, but you also had a slice of family values in there as well, because you had to work so closely together.
Right. Yes. We grew up working together. It's all we've ever done. We were roommates in college, so we've always worked together, but neither one of us have a...
I always say Jolie was 2.5 years late to work.
Because she was born a little bit later.
Yeah, she was 2.5 years late, you know.
Well, there was that decision to leave the nest and go to college, and you got your college degrees in journalism and pre-med, and then Amie, you found yourself in an 8-to-5 job in a cubicle in Austin wearing business suits and matching pumps. Now, we just don't think those business suits look right on you. We tried to, we're like, is this really what she was doing there?
Oh, how funny.
And, somehow I just seeing you in a business suit and matching pumps is just not, that's just not you.
You also
we changed.
Cute,
yeah,
You
no,
got
it's not.
You got really tall and skinny.
And a really big head.
I mean,
well, I was photoshopping the best I could. But anyway, what was the realization in your head when you said, this is just not for me, even though you were accepted to law school and all the things that a lot of people go for?
Mom had always said, she said, I don't want you to go to law school. I think you're never going to be happy. It's a waste of your creative brain, is what she kept saying. But I was like, no, I'm going to do this. I'm in Austin. I'm working at the Capitol. And
usually it's the other way around. The parents are like, look, the artsy stuff
said.
Is your passion. You go to law school so you can have something to rely on.
Right. You can't make a living off of art, but our mom was determined you can make a living off of anything you want to, right? Just she wanted us to be happy. Was her #1 goal.
And for you to step off and fall in line as well, what was your decision?
Right. Well, I think I was working at Texas A&M at the time as an academic advisor, and that's right. Go Ags. And I was going in every weekend to help them with the flea markets, and just eventually it was just the right decision. Our dad actually was diagnosed with cancer, and at that point it just felt right to step back to help with help with their creative venture, because we were always working together anyway. So that was just what we needed to do.
Junk Gypsy was founded in 1998 with your mom. You had no real business plan, although you knew about business because, as you mentioned, you all had the pizza restaurant. Right. Your grassroots dreams and a lot of faith is what you say were going to get you through. You had your first failure, which a lot of people look at the failure and want to quit. A failure, you looked at it differently, was such a big lesson, and basically kind of, God pointing you on a detour to the right road.
Right. That was our fuel. Like the first show we ever set up at, Amie and Mom had actually made homemade pillows, and we set up
pillows, not pillows.
Yeah, pillows. The things you lay your head on or cuddle up with, the pillows.
We set up at a 5-day show. It's Canton Flea Market. Everybody's heard of that. And actually did not sell one pillow, not one, the entire 5 days. But what we discovered at that show is that everybody was interested in our display. And so from there we were like, we could have just, packed up and left, but we kind of didn't have a backup plan. So we just thought, well, we'll bring display, we'll bring furniture. So from there we started buying and finding off on big trash day.
Yeah. You would do some dumpster diving.
Oh, yeah.
So you found the Junk and the Gypsy, and then you went back to Canton the next time, completely opposite reaction.
And we set up vignettes, like the way you would see it in your home. This is before I was really doing this. Was 25 years ago.
27.
So it wasn't as popular then. You didn't really see people setting up a booth like you would see it in your home, and then people just started loving it and feeding us, feeding our spirits and our excitement and our adrenaline, and the rest is history, I guess.
I know we talk about family a lot. I got the pleasure of meeting your dad as well, because I met your mom before, but met your dad as well, and he's such a great supporter of y'all. He's like, what you gonna do in the house with 3 girls? You just do what they tell you to do, right? But it was cool. And then, of course, you went on with HGTV and the national spotlight. Sometimes when that happens, people think, really, are we that good? Are people really that interested? Or they're thinking it's about time. Where were y'all in your head?
What do you think?
Well, I think Jolie and I, every day we still are thankful and amazed that people like what we're doing. And so we truly never take it for granted, and I think that's part of the magic for us. Is that keeps moving us forward. Because we always want to do better than we did last year.
And on that show, you redesigned Dierks Bentley's Airstream tour bus. You also redesigned Miranda Lambert's Airstream, and then you created her Guns and Wings logo that we know her for.
Yes, and we've been in trouble with her dad ever since. Because once she got it tattooed on her arm, that was her first tattoo, and he was like,
she actually wrote about that in a song.
Yes, she did. So, and we also, the other thing we did that was really out of our wheelhouse is Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. He called us, and we did it, and we thought it was a joke. We're like, there's no way Green Day's calling us, and we did his Airstream. So we were like, oh. So anyway, but he had seen Miranda's and Dierks's online, and called us. So that was just, who would have ever thunk it? Like really, truly.
And then who would have ever thunk all that junking everywhere and going to all those markets, so that you would actually have a real brick and mortar store.
Yes.
And the store is just such a destination. It's one of those places you can walk in not thinking you want anything, and you'll want everything. But I also love that when you're out there, it's a gathering space, and so you had like food trucks out there. There was music being played. You get your drinks in the whole bit, and everyone was sitting out on the lawn. It just really is such a. Round Top is a small town, not so much anymore, but it is a small town anyway. But you get that small town feel right there on your front lawn.
We've always wanted our junk sanctuary, as we used to call it, to be an experience. So it's not just things on a shelf. It's a whole experience. There's pieces of furniture that we found, wherever, or trinkets or whatever it is. And then, like you said, the yard, there's live music, there's food during the antique show. And so it's an entire experience.
And then we have our inn on the property as well.
So the Wander Inn.
Yeah,
that is
so now they can just stay. It's a fully immersive experience.
Yeah, you have all kinds of things.
But we did have somebody say to us one time that was like from out of state, and they said, your front yard feels like a family reunion, although I don't know anybody.
That's exactly right. No, it does. And I love all my family members there. Okay, you have an online store as well with theme collections, your Big Loud Texas, Coastal Cowgirl, Road Trip, and Wander in Bath and Bodyline as well. So every time I see you, it just grows more and more and more. All right, before we take a look at the fashions in the fashion show, we've talked about Mama a few times. I'm gonna bring Mama on up here. And Mom, I know you love your girls, but we had been talking before about some other things, and I think one of you has a confession to make about Mama's new car that she got one time.
Oh, you did not do this to me.
I just want to get it out in the air.
Right. This is something that.
Do I know this?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
I think you did. You told me that you did.
I told Deborah this at the family reunion on the front porch, and I didn't know she was going to out me.
It's supposed to be confidential. There's always secrets at a family reunion.
You know the new Pathfinder that you had when I was like 16?
Yes.
Do you remember when there was that like burn in the seat in the driver's side?
Yes.
Do you remember that?
Yes. And you did that?
I might have done that.
How did you? Oh my gosh.
Because I might have thought that I would try to smoke a cigarette.
Oh my God.
And in your brand new car with leather seats, and I dropped it, and it burned your leather seat.
But she's a good girl otherwise.
Don't worry, people. I don't smoke now.
Okay, you got that off. You feel better. You got that off your chest. But let me just say,
Am I in
what's it like to
trouble?
be able to work with your daughters this
Oh my
way?
God.
Oh, it's a dream come true. I mean,
Really?
most of the time.
Most of the time.
No, it's been wonderful. I mean, and since we all get to live so close to each other and work together, how many people get that?
Yeah.
Well, I've loved
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Every minute
Except
of
this
it.
morning at 4:30 when we picked her up, and she said, "Why am I going?"
Well, here you are. All right.
I think my life's choices today.
Let's take a look at a couple of models that you have here, because in the store you have so many pieces that you can put together any way you want to, but some of the pieces are right here, and of course we know pretty in pink.
That's right. This is Taylor, and she is showing off our military jacket, which is so popular in store. We can't really even keep them in stock. Our Mama Tried design, which was actually in Miranda Lambert's Kerosene video. It's kind of iconic forever. It's also in the Country Music Hall of Fame. And she has on some of our custom jewelry that's actually made by, we designed by us and made by a woman-owned business here in Houston. We're so proud of that. Our bandana.
Oh, she's clapping over there. Hello, Sandra Ling.
Yes, we're so proud of that line. It does so well in our store. Our wild rag, which is Guadalupe, Our Lady Guadalupe. Our cap, just the whole shebang. Tacovas boots, which are a Texas brand.
We were the first retailer for Tacovas, and of course that's an iconic Texas brand at this point. So we're super happy to have Tacovas
So
on board.
from
with
head
us.
to toe, you can get it all
Right,
down.
right.
All right, our next model here. We had a little cool front. You know, once it gets below 80, we're like, oh, get a coat.
We're dreaming of colder weather.
And this is Avery, and she has been coming to Junk Gypsy since she was a little girl, and she actually just got married at the Wonder Inn on
cool.
property. So we kind of, anyway, so it's all in the family, but she's just got on some cute barrel jeans, a Junk Gypsy shirt. This is another woman-owned business, The Coat. That's Tasha Polizzi. And then she's got on her Tacovas.
Thank you so much. So cool. The store has so much in there. Okay, so explain to people how the Round Top markets work, because we can go to your store just about all year round, right?
Yes.
However, the market's a different deal.
Yeah, the store is open year-round, 7 days a week. So come see us anytime. We also have a second location in Wimberley, so Round Top and Wimberley. But the antique show, those dates are very, very confusing, and they change a lot because there's no governing body.
Yeah.
So we always ask people just to come call us, go to our website. We'll try to give you the clearest dates as we can, because
So the upcoming one is October 3rd through October 18th, and we do our Junkarama Prom, which you need to come
need
to.
to come.
Junkarama
Deborah.
Prom. Okay, the Junkarama Prom.
And so it's a practical magic theme this year because it's,
Season of the
it's
Witch.
October 11th.
Okay, all right.
So-
I will be there. All right,
Yes.
then there's another one in the spring, but it's a short drive up there. Make a day of it, or make a
Yes.
weekend of it. It's so much fun. Ladies, thank you for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for raising such great girls. All right, the Hill Country Relief T-shirts and prints are limited editions. There are a few left in, like, I think some larger sizes, XXXL.
I think so,
I'll
or
make a mini
2X.
dress out of it. If you're interested in supporting efforts this way and keeping up with the Junk Gypsy Company, visit gypsyville.com.